This conference will now be recorded.
Cool. So, how is everyone? Hey, Danny.
Hey, everything's good.
Good.
I'm good. George disappeared. Sam is muted.
I'm
I'm
here.
frozen.
Well, Sam's here, so he'll start off with happy birthday to you, Brian, almost 2 weeks ago. Happy birthday to you, Brian, almost 2 weeks ago. I'm done.
Poor Brian.
Poor me. I forgot to move my seat up again. There we go. Is that better? I have to sit on the phone books. So I'm in view. So, anybody got anything going on that they want to talk about? I mean,
Yeah, my laser is still in storage, waiting on me to build a shop, which is probably going to be at least another 2 months out. So my storage will, my laser will officially have been unplugged for almost a whole year. In order to do this move from California to Texas, but
yeah.
excited and nervous and just wanting it to get out of storage, but I got to build a shop for it. So, yeah, freaking out. I want my laser, and the more and more designs I see and the more and more stuff I see, the more and more I want to break it out of its temporary jail right now, but I can't because I don't have anywhere to put it.
Right. I was there's. I was kind of hoping Jason would be on here after that post he put. Give us give us a preview of what he's going to talk about in that trailer.
Oh, his trailer's nice.
Yeah. He said he was going to do a rundown on how they handled the trip and all that kind of stuff. You know, kind of go over the machines, check them out, make sure nothing's loose, see how well they held up on the
He's probably still
voyage.
walking to the parking lot.
I know from his place to here, everything held fine.
hmm if there's any machine out there I can think of, that would be one of the ones that I would think would be ideally suited for travel. Was that Bolt? The way it's made, there's no glass tube to worry about, no chiller to worry about. It's small enough of a footprint. You know, you could stick it on a dolly or something and wheel it in somewhere if you wanted to. Almost just handle it by yourself, kind of like people take fibers into gun shows and things. So I like the portability aspect of it. Is my audio better than those headphones? Okay, good.
You
Okay.
sound fine. So you're saying that a 35 100 watt isn't all that portable?
Well, I mean, it can be. Anything's portable if you want it to be.
Yeah,
But
well,
I'd
I can
much
tell you
rather,
right now, the moving company about crap their pants when they saw it. So,
yeah,
yeah, it was pretty funny to watch that.
yeah, they get scared of that real quick, probably. It's like an alien spacecraft if you've never seen one before. Like, what in the world is that thing? It looks expensive and fragile. They're not that fragile though. They're pretty tough. There's Jim. It's been a while. He's
Yeah, no
back.
kidding.
Yeah. Is my mic even working? Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's been a little nuts.
Oh, before I forget, thank you, Chris Myers.
I
Help the
didn't
other
do it
day.
this time.
Oh, yeah. You ain't gonna thank me for that.
That's our
I got that
job.
Odin in. So it
Well,
wasn't bad
it's
at all.
nothing like being wedged in between, two machines and two chillers trying to get to the electronics.
That was
Hopefully you
a
had
cute
enough
picture
Vaseline.
of you.
Yeah, you liked that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Chris, are you
Well, it
Thunder's
should have.
version of Jake from State Farm, where people bring you steaks and chocolate covered cherries to thank you?
Hmm.
I don't know. I've no. He's not far though. But it would have been funny if Lois was standing next to the machine with the little like 10 millimeter wrench, just kind of tapping on it as he's back there. Tap tap tap.
It would have been
Well,
even funnier seeing a jar of Vaseline sitting there on the edge of it so you could slide in and out.
I almost needed it. My legs fell asleep. It was horrible. And the moral of the story is think about where you're going to put your lasers and maintenance and access before you do it.
Mhm.
Do you put your
Yeah,
feet
hmm.
down?
yes. Well, the big one is on the wheels, but the little one is on its feet, at least the front feet.
Yeah, just to keep it from shimmying when you're running it hard. So,
Yeah, at the slope of my shop, if I didn't have the feet slightly touching the floor, it would have its own mind and just sort of move around.
mhm.
Yeah, I've got mine
Yeah,
just on the casters with the wheels locked. That seems to help it pretty good. Now you can bump into it pretty hard and that'll move it, but
that Odin 22 that I have is one of the prototypes, and it did the feet, the bottom, the base wasn't cased in. It was just legs like on each side, and that thing when you got it going 2,000 millimeters per second, it would go all over the place. It was insane how much it would move. But the engraving still looks good. It never moved, never moved the material around, slid it around on the bed when it was doing it. So it's crazy.
Speaking of Odins, how is that Odin, Chris?
uh, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Some new tube mounts and some slight mechanical adjustments, and it'll be good to go.
Are you wanting an Odin, Tommy?
Well, at the rate and we go back to this whole, we all know how we felt about tumblers. Let's just say the Junior has been pretty much locked in the 80 watt for 2 months now.
Hmm.
So yeah, I see something coming in the future. I
Did you
just
see
don't know where.
Alicia's video on the Odin on how much faster she said it was doing a tumbler than on her 35 in the in her group? She did a
Yeah,
video about that the other
I don't
night, I
remember.
think.
Um,
So
I
it was a
haven't
pretty
been
good difference.
I haven't been too awful much on
Yeah.
on Facebook, just because of my temper and issues. So I'm tired of yelling at her or she yelling at me. And um, but yeah, I mean, us. We're always looking for something.
Yeah.
Whatever's
And,
going
and
to
I
make
don't
it easier.
Yeah, and I don't think it's twice as fast as the Nova, because it's scanning twice as many times, because the your L lines per inch, the resolution's so much higher on those. But still, the acceleration is enough that it makes a pretty huge difference. She jumped from, I forget, from 7 minutes to 4 or something like that across machines with the
I
same
mean,
design or something.
times that by 100 tumblers, and that's a large chunk of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did on the Bolt, which would be an equivalent size dot. I ran the 2.5-inch lens and did a 4-inch graphic at 2.5 minutes for one and 3:20 for another. So I mean, I was able
So
to widen that scan gap out a little bit. Scan
would the
gap,
Bolt
man,
be a better
back in the day.
option for? Would the Bolt be a better option for straight tumblers than the Odin?
Odin will go
It'll be a
2,000
cheaper
if
option.
you wanted to.
Cheaper.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a cheaper option, but I meant just strictly for tumblers and gaining the time. What Tommy's looking at, because it's a smaller footprint.
The Odin's a little faster than the Bolt, or on paper, as far as millimeters per second. Acceleration ought to be about the same. They use the same motors and gantry and head, I think, pretty much. So, and I don't know if I've ever run nobody that I know of runs the Odin at 1,500 or 1,700 or whatever. So,
And we'll see. It's getting close to the end of the year. I'll make a phone call to the accountant to see how much I got to spend before the end of the year. So
yeah, yeah, December's coming. Got to
but
get it all done.
I can
We
say we
usually
did
see a.
make
Go ahead.
from us that started with the other brand of rotary to now having 3 of Jason's. The Ascend. The Ascend is phenomenal as far as its capabilities, except for without I forgot to get the hangers for it. So oversized stuff is a little bit more difficult.
You mentioned that to Grant.
No, I haven't talked to him in forever. I'll send him an email though. The
Please do,
Ascend.
because I like that one for many different reasons.
Some of the weird stuff that we do, like actually French rolling pins, it's a little bit more difficult as they're tapered to worry about steps and dimensions and everything else. This makes life so much easier. Those silly JDS dice cups that have the little snap on the bottom of it. I don't have to shove a PVC pipe in it and hope it stays and it's centered. I can slide those wheels right up into the inside and go with it. So it's a phenomenal rotary.
What happened with your laser, Tommy?
What's that?
You said you were thanking Chris about helping you get your laser back up and running. What happened?
To be honest with you, I don't have a clue. The rotary just stopped working. Like all the Facebook posts, I turned it on. It was working yesterday. I turned it on today, and it wasn't working. So following with the email and the steps, minus a little bit of terminology confusion, and trying to squeeze. And you've seen the shop, George. You know what it's like for me to get in between the two machines.
Uh-huh. Did you try turning it off and on?
I even switched rotaries to make sure that it wasn't just something silly. Yeah, we went through a lot of different stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, again, Thunder tech support saves the damn day. Don't let it swell your head, guys.
You did the hard work.
Yeah, but I learned
his booth. If he doesn't come on here, man, his Jason's booth at LBX, that dude could not get away from that booth. Like, he didn't see one of the talks. He was just rocking.
Speaking of that,
he likes to talk, but man, it was busy. On top of him talking, he couldn't get away.
I sent him a message about the Ohio company that's got the cologne. I sent him a PM of that the other night. I was like, they're looking. I said, they called you out. And all he did is send me a thumbs up. Because I don't know if you guys are all aware of or seen it or not. There is a clone to the Pi that is being made by an Ohio company. And they called Pyburn and Rotor and Rotoboss both out. Because their cologne is only $5.85. I'm going, yeah, there's lawsuits. I'm like, yeah, there's lawsuits coming. Because it's a mirrored image of the Pi.
So part of the rotary cost is the driver, the integrated motor driver. So if he's offering that for $585 and it's only the basic stepper with no driver, there's $200 worth of hardware it's missing.
And the know-how to put it together right, because there's been some manufacturers we've had people try to retrofit on a Thunder, and the rotary manufacturers told them to cut wires and modify the Thunder's wiring instead of adapting their equipment to run on the Thunder, and that is a big no-no, because telling our end users to modify the machine to fit their device is absolutely the wrong way to go about it. So.
Well, yeah, because what silly person would rewire a $10,000 machine versus a $1,500 rotary? That's dumb backwards.
What is funny is I just went back to that company's website and the pop-up window that was there is no longer there because that was their main pop-up on their website as of still yesterday, and
Huh.
it's no longer there. It's sort of funny. Somebody's gotten into somebody's.
No, it's there.
It's a direct copy for sure,
It is
100%.
100% there.
Oh, is it still there? Because for some reason I'm not getting the pop-up on the first one. It just don't show up unless I'm just on the wrong page of it.
You sure that's not just rebranded?
That's what I sort of thought because it looks so much like it, and I'm like, nobody's saying anything.
How can you rebrand it and then say compared to? I mean,
Yeah, I know.
but
And
I'm no lawyer or
Anybody that's wanting
anything.
it,
But when you advertise and you say compared to either other manufacturer, it almost feels like, hey, our stuff is the same. So if you were to get sued for patent infringement and you were like, oh, compared to, saying
right.
we're basically the same,
I posted a link if
kind of
anybody's
admitted it.
curious. It's in here. Yeah, I thought it was
Well,
funny when I seen it.
it was easy to find once you mentioned a company in Ohio
Makes
and
me just
called
want to
out.
drive down. This makes me want to drive down to Middletown, back my over neck of the woods. I don't even know nothing about their lasers. I'd never heard of the company before. Never heard of the lasers before. Don't know anything about them. You'd think being in Ohio, I'd have heard something, but just because I
That
did so much
is a
research.
pie burn. What if they're buying them and rebranding them from pie burn? The
That's what
picture
I was
they have
saying.
there is a pie burn.
But the thing is, did they take a picture and photocopy and do a bunch of photo imaging to make it look like that?
I don't know.
You know,
Looks like they might have worked out a deal with them to sell them
Yeah.
unbranded or branded to those guys. Because that is
I
a
could
pie. I
see
mean,
that.
if that's theirs and they don't have any kind of agreement with pie burn, then yeah, they're for sure going down. They're going to burn.
I mean, it's the same colors and everything. I mean,
yeah, I know. It's like they didn't even try to hide anything.
hardware looks all the same.
What is so weird is I can't even get that to pop up on my computer anymore. Did they block me or something? I haven't posted nothing.
Just keep on playing with it. It'll pop up.
I'll just go to rotary attachments. Okay. Because they have like 2 or 3 different types of rotaries on there. If you go to the rotary attachments, they have like, 2 or 3 different styles.
It'd be funny
Yeah,
if
it's
each
sort of.
style was a different manufacturer copy.
It would have
We
been
have
funny
the
if one
Fiburn
style was.
style. We have
We
the
have the,
Rotoboss style.
Does anybody's input on what brand of laser that actually is remarked as?
No, I'm sure a
Looks
quick
like they just
Alibaba
modified the
search
bottom
would.
chassis.
Yeah, I'm back 10 minutes and I already stirred the shit. Sorry.
So I had an interesting project I worked on. I had a bride come to me and ask me to engrave the bottom of her Louis Vuitton shoes.
Use a UV for that.
I did.
Nice.
It turned out really good. I was scared to death. Working on a $1,200 pair of shoes.
Oh,
But
speaking of the UV, I have to update. I just did something for veterinarian practice, and they wanted to start doing charms of paws and nose prints and stuff. Sterling silver. Sterling silver.
Nice.
You decide. I gotta put that into the library though, and then I'll re-upload it.
I did some settings for 18 karat gold and 24.
Yeah, I'll test. They gave me these too, so I'll test it on the gold ones and see if it works the same. But it should be. I mean, it should be relatively the same. This is just a coating, so. I will say that if you have the opportunity next year when they do LBX go. I'm sure we will have a larger presence there. It won't just be Chris. Um, Definitely go see it, check it out, go to all the talks that interest you. It was a lot of fun.
I watched some of it online as I listened to, I should say, that they had online.
Right.
That
But
was
I
pretty
was like,
cool.
it was strictly just being able to listen to it because I was busy and I just had it in the background.
Yeah, it was pretty neat meeting all the developers and all these people that you see on their YouTube channels. They were all there. It was cool. It was a cool experience.
Next year.
I already proposed Tampa Bay. At least I mean, I'll do some legwork for them, but at least, Peoria. What's in Peoria? Like, if you want to go there with your family for a week so you can attend the event, they're not going to the beach. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do in Peoria? Go visit the cat manufacturer?
And see, that's why Louisville would be perfect because you have the Bourbon Trail.
We have that plan for next year, Tommy.
What's that? Come do the Bourbon Trail?
Yeah, we have that as an RV trip.
I got a big enough driveway. You can park the RV here and hit the majority of the trail from the house.
There'll be
I
three
don't know if you
RVs.
want. I don't know if you want drunk Chris in your yard.
Do you need any parts of your yard watered?
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, none of that bothers me.
There was a funny noise. So I do have some topics. If things get quiet.
Let's do it.
Winterization, and then talking about the holiday season come up, how you're preparing for it, and stuff like that. Just kind of off the cuff. If anybody has any input on either one of those, if not, we can talk about whatever.
Buy a mini split. And
What's
not a
that?
Mr. Cool.
Oh,
I said buy a mini split and make sure it's not a Mr. Cool brand.
Yeah, but what happens if your power goes out for 7 days, though?
That's why you have a generator.
drain the chiller and go inside and watch television until it thaws.
That's when you go get a ready heater and just hook it up to a propane tank and then keep your immediate area around your laser thawed. That's what I've got emergency backup for mine.
Yeah, I'd probably just drain the cooler and chiller out the
Don't
tube,
sit
all
your
that
chiller
junk.
on the floor. Elevate it up off the floor 12 inches.
Yeah, and then warm
Warmer.
myself up with that heater.
Well, see, the thing is, the heat goes out, and I got the ready heater out there, but everybody's going to come out to the shop anyway, so that's where it's going to be the warmest because everybody's going to want to be out there. Plus, too, I got the torpedo out there, so it'll be the only one part around here.
Yeah.
We're looking to put in a battery backup.
Tube.
Say it again?
This is why everybody should own an RF tube. Don't have to worry about it.
One day when I become a big boy. We're looking into buying battery backup for the garage. So those EcoFlow units, I think now they have them where you can program them to charge overnight. So when you're charging them from the electric grid, you're getting your electric at the lowest possible cost. And then should the power go out, it's already charged up. You're getting your feed out of the battery. So should you have even a blip in the power, I'll never notice it out here in the garage.
Yeah, we looked into putting a whole house generator in, and until we seen the price tag of $35,000. And I was like, yeah, don't think so. And we weren't even full boat on that one. We was actually left some stuff out. It could have been closer to 40.
So you could do the battery backup system. It comes out to be about 25 kilowatts. That's about as large as you can go without really getting way over your own head. For about $25,000. It's about $1,000 a kilowatt. Now your runtime is only going to be 8 hours, in a full shop working with an air compressor, heat, lighting, lasers going, right? Get about an 8-hour day out of it, maybe a little bit more, maybe 10. Get a couple temporary solar panels and you hook them up to the battery backups. All right, and now you go a little bit more. You can get 2 days out of it.
Speaking of solar panels, how many people have their hunting blinds hooked up with solar panels? We have our hunting blinds, and I went and wired it for solar panel. I have a backup battery in there now. Now we can charge our phones, our vape pens. Got little dinky fans in there in case you're outside of the season coyote hunting, for little fans to keep it cool in there or to defrost the windows. Other guys looked at that and said, "You're just completely lost it." But it was my first time playing with solar power, so I just put one in, and next year it's going to be a 100-watt solar power bank that's going to be in there and be able to do more with it. Even talked about putting a monitor in there to watch TV where we're hunting.
A lot of people use that solar power to charge for their boat lifts as well. It's common practice.
It works well on this little. It's got a 25 or 30 watt solar panel on there with a battery, and so far I put LED lights inside the hunting blind, and I can turn them on by my phone. We're about 200 feet away, 300 feet away where we're parking at now. I can remotely turn the interior lights on so we can go in completely quiet because I have all the windows blacked out. That is a little bit one of our high tech this year on hunting.
I just realized I misheard you. I thought you were saying honey blind, like
Nope.
as in what
Hunting.
comes from bees, honey. No,
Nope.
you were saying hunting.
Yeah, my accent. Sorry, it's hunting.
Humbait. Like what?
Yeah, it's heat. Our hunting blind's heated. I mean, sitting there in t-shirt and shorts and 10 degrees outside, and you're still warm.
That's glunting,
Yeah,
kind of like glamping.
it's all that happens when you get old. I got tired of sitting in tree stands in cold ass blinds.
Brian, wasn't
Next
there an
year,
article up on Thunder's website that talked about like you can add a little bit of antifreeze into your system?
A lot of it.
Yeah. The pink stuff we usually run 100%. At least that's what we have on there. There's other stuff you can use too, but the stuff that they spec is kind of hard to find and kind of expensive. So
Often I got to get changed out.
Well, you usually only want to run anything but distilled for as long as you need it, and then you flush it and put distilled back in it. So like just in the winter seasons or whatnot, unless you're in a real, cold climate all year round. So that kind of takes care of your water maintenance because you're changing it once a year anyway, or twice. So
I did.
That's what I do. I change mine out every 6 months.
mhm.
I did.
That Nova 35 that I just sold was about 4 years old. It still had the same water in it that it had in the day I put it together. And she's still running the same water in it. We didn't even unhook the lines. We just set the chiller up next to it on the trailer. She's running it like a charm. That's one of those do as I say, not as I do things. Follow the specs, not me. But
I did do a little bit of lasering to the hunting blind if I can get that to show up on the camera.
oh yeah,
Okay.
that actually showed up really well for what you were doing. The war room.
Yeah, I've been busy with stupid stuff, obviously. Like every experiment I have had went into 3 stages of hunting season this year.
Okay, y'all ready for the technical question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Galvos. The way galvos are designed, your focal distance affects your overall size and shape, to include all the other nonsense that you may or may not have to go into setting it up. Correct? So if I've got a 50 millimeter circle because I'm putting it on a 50 millimeter coin and I'm in focus, what would cause varying shifts other than focus in that measurement or that size scale? Does that make sense? Chris is shaking his head like that didn't make sense.
I'm
So the
having the
object
exact same
is
problem, Tommy.
It's working through. I'm trying to figure it out.
So when I got the UV and the fiber, you go through just like Lightburn says, draw the square, do the measurements, put your scale in, your skew, and all of that stuff. And my brain is not working for the right terminology, so forgive me. I did all that. I'm dead accurate. And then all of a sudden, the fiber starts acting a fool, and now the UV. If I measure something, I put it in distance or in focus, and now my 50 millimeters is 3 millimeters bigger circle than what it should be. So what would cause it not to hold?
focus, possibly.
Yeah,
So
focus.
your
Light
focus
burn.
sensor, it's a time of flight sensor. Temperature can affect that a little bit. I don't think it'd be much for this. But depending on, I guess, which direction it's focusing from and where it actually lands. So if you ever pulled up a Windows computer and connected to it, you'll see the values that it reads out for where it actually focuses. Even though, let's say the nominal was 274, when you hit the focus button, it may be 274.5. And then when you go the other direction, it may end up 273.7. So you're almost a millimeter out, which I don't think that'd make 53 millimeters out of 50 millimeter square. But the other thing I've also found is like the color of the object that I'm focusing to sometimes affects if it's too reflective. It doesn't quite get the right focus, being a sensor. There's always the backup of physically measuring the height from the plate to the lens and always verifying that. Wonder what he's doing now. Can you hear me, Tommy?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
You mentioned the color. Okay, well, it's black. So I put a piece of white paper underneath of it, hit focus, and it moved a little bit. Still nowhere near what it should be.
Yeah. The 50 to 53 is kind of rough. I haven't had that issue on my EasyCAD 3 machine. I'll say that.
And you have different profiles created, right?
I have every lens profile created and gone through. I even have notes where I can see where I've adjusted scale, especially the UV just started doing it. The fiber has been doing it. And then I went through every so often and, okay, why is this acting a fool? I go back and check everything, restore it to 0, and start putting in my numbers again and rechecking things. Because I keep all of that written in a notebook just in case.
Yeah, unless Lightburn reverted back to 0.
No.
It's set. It's still set. You've checked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the core files are still good.
Yes.
Don't know. That's a good question.
I was gonna say it's about time for the Jeopardy music to be playing.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with focus.
212 for your 170 still, and I think I calculated mine out. I'm at 325 for the 260 lens.
Whatever is in the manual. I think 212 is Yeah, 212 is for the small lens.
212's for the 170, and I think it's 325 for the other one. Then if you're doing glass, you may have to focus 1 millimeter farther in, closer to the workpiece. But mine's off. If I'm going to engrave something and I type in 25 millimeters, I do it and I measure it and it comes out at 19.
Okay. He wasn't happy with that answer.
No, I'm waiting on UPS that's supposed to be picking up something, and then Lois just got back from grabbing Tristan. So yeah, I just manually, because we already cut the focal sticks as well, so it was off from the piece of paper, and I just adjusted it back down so it's to the measurements that are specified in the manual, and it's still not scaled right.
But even in the manual, that's a pretty large margin of error. I mean, there's a window in the
I
manual.
think it's 3 millimeters.
That's it.
If I remember reading it correctly.
Yeah, I don't think that's uncommon with. I think it might be an inherent bug of the of that board, to be honest with you, because I remember with my old one, things just not being right and having to adjust. And this was just a generic 60-watt MOPA. And it was, there were some days I would start it up and it was weird, and I would shut it off and restart it and it was fine. It's just like that BJJZ board is
So
strange.
it could work the other way too, right? If you had, say, a 110 lens and you drew a 2-inch by 2-inch square and got it all set up, focus was correct, and then you go put another lens on, theoretically, you should be able to adjust your focus up and down until that square is 2 inches by 2 inches again, and that should be your optimal focus for that lens, right? In theory.
In theory. Yeah, in theory.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. When Chris is waving, sweetie.
What?
So yeah, like I said, I mean, if it's an inherent bug, then so be it. It's no big deal. I just got to figure out the scale then and light burn to adjust. It gets a little frustrating, and I know somebody who's got a short temper as it is that might be frustrated if
Is there a mirror there? Is there a mirror right in front of you?
Not me. I don't get angry.
Yeah.
Your YouTube channel begs to differ.
Yeah, and Brian doesn't have the mute. And
It's raining here. Hold on, it's raining.
I was gonna say, Brian didn't used to have to keep the mute button on hold for me.
Hey, I'm just to the point. I'm blunt,
All right, how's everybody getting that thumbs down shit and stuff? Where the hell is that coming in?
You have a
Are you a Mac user?
Oh no, hell no.
See,
I still have some brain cells left.
I still have a real thumb. I don't need to use that stuff.
Yes, Lois, I'm back.
So,
we're still
Tommy,
recording. I can't say what I think, so.
you should ask
Well-
Brian for his video of the UPS guy one day. But brace your ribs before you watch it. It's pretty funny.
I don't think I have that anymore.
I'll have to find it then. You share
Oh
it with
boy,
us.
man. Is that the one where I was chasing him down?
Yes.
You
So funny.
you should see some of the times I get after that mailman. Man, he's lazy. He doesn't even shut the mailbox all the way and our mail gets wet. And we've told him like 4 times. I finally stuck a note out there. And then the last power supply I sent out, I put, please throw me into the back of your Jeep really hard because I like to brake on the way where I'm going or something like that. Please brake me. Because I would watch him through the ring. He'd just toss the power supply, 8-pound power supply, just toss it in the back. You hear go boom and see the Jeep drop a little. I'm like, man, that ain't gonna cut it. So
But
I
if
don't
y'all
think I
come up
reg-
with something, let me know.
for sure.
It's not something that I haven't noticed, but I haven't noticed it on these yet with the autofocus, but I have noticed it on my older machine.
I don't know.
What? I don't use
Man.
autofocus. What?
No. The
Oh,
scale.
on back there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's more his world than mine.
And here we go. Dead silence.
Dory did mention that he is working with several other Galvo boards and hoping to have them online soon. So there may be other options besides the BJJZ. I don't know
Ruida
what's
was
out
working
there.
on one. We were kind of hoping Ruida would have one. I speculate. I heard maybe somewhere. I don't know if it's official or not. That maybe Ruida was working on one for Galvo, which makes sense. I don't think they have anything in that line yet. They got a lot more than just laser controllers, are the ones we're used to anyway. I mean, they got a lot of different product lines for different things. And there was another company out there that was willing to let their application be open source or something. And I think there was some interest in that too. I forgot who that was. Someone other than JBZ or whoever that is. Because they're pretty tight on their stuff. They're super proprietary, which I get. I didn't get it with EasyCAD 2. I don't know why anybody would want to claim that stuff. Easy Crash.
I mean, but if you think about it, why wouldn't you want other options that uses your hardware? You're just going to sell more hardware. It makes no sense whatsoever.
No, it doesn't.
Questions, comments, concerns? Nobody's got anything, huh? Everybody's happy.
Everyone's happy?
I mean, even the angry craftsman.
Yeah. I had all intentions to be productive during the webinar today. Of course, I missed the first half of it or whatever. But then I sanded through 2 of my fingers. So that makes putting parts together
Or
a
an
little
angry crafts lady.
I already bled on one ornament. I don't need to bleed on anymore. Guess that's how I can procrastinate.
You guys make ornaments?
Yes.
Around here, so many people.
I have certain ornaments that I do every year. And then I came out with some a new line this year for something new and fresh. Hopefully people will like it. I'm scared. You know, we got a show in a little over a week, our first show of the season, so fingers crossed.
Nice.
I bet you ain't make any Rocky Top ornaments, are you?
Huh?
Rocky Top?
I don't know what that is.
They beat your Wildcats last week.
Oh, yeah. I don't watch sports, so I don't care.
The locals loved it.
We're getting some good bits of awkward silence in on this one.
Yeah. And I'm being Have since I've been around.
You know, the metric is if we tally up more than 2 minutes of awkward silence, we're going to go to every third week.
He said, "Rrr." Did he lock up or was that me?
No, it was him.
Me?
Yeah.
Man.
You didn't
You'd have
lock
to
up
get a
here,
Mac.
man.
I said if we get less than, I think, or more than 2 minutes of accumulated awkward silence, we're gonna have to go to every third week.
I heard it. I heard it. I heard it
You'll
perfectly.
ever
It was
show
them.
up.
Well,
Every
we're looking at options to replace us with AI anyway, so these sessions could literally just be on 24/7 if you wanted them.
hey, if that AI is anything like the Amazon she who will not be named, it's never taken over the world, and we're all safe.
What new and exciting things can y'all talk about for the next year? Y'all have any plans?
When is that V2.0 Nova coming?
Probably
Is
late
it?
next year.
Oh, yes, that's too far off.
I think at this point we're just trying to brace for the Christmas rush.
It should be starting.
Remind
Yeah.
everybody to order extra lenses and extra mirrors, and the if they've used the limit switch out of their toolbox, get some extras of those.
And find any other reason that there's something wrong before you start screwing with your alignment.
I would totally agree with that.
I did do something totally stupid and dumb that I've never did before. I actually
What's
have my hollow or my Christmas lights up October the 15th because it was warm and I had help. And actually, November the 1st, I was like, I've already got them up. I turned them on. So everybody around here is probably really mad at me because I have Christmas lights on November 1.
So I put up Halloween lights. So I do purple and orange, but
Yeah,
then we
we had
wire
ice.
them independently so that November 1st, I just unplugged the purple ones. So now I have orange lights up until after, as long as we make it to Thanksgiving, and then I don't care what happens.
Yeah, we had all the orange and purple up for Halloween stuff.
Does anybody make one that's maybe addressable RGB or something that you can change the colors? Just like leave them up all the time, so you do.
That's what I want. So get
They
on
do
that,
have them.
Brian.
It's about $1,000.
No, I can't find exactly the color combinations that I want because that's what I want. I want lights that I can just mount, LED, whatever, and then just click the button and change the color depending upon the season. And I will have my house lit up all year long. I don't care.
Yep.
I got
And
these cool clips from Amazon that I can now just like clip my lights into instead of like winding them around the banister.
and
You're gonna
you can
spend like
always
$5,000.
have another switch, like kind of like on your alarm system for police or fire and medical, so that if you unfortunately have to have someone come that way, or even the pizza delivery guy, you can push a button and the whole thing will blink blue, or the whole thing will blink red, to alert people of where you are. That can save
Yes, you
precious
just have to
moments.
remember to turn that back off.
During gun season, you could always have them flash so that we're flashing orange, so that way your house will be safety. Hunter orange.
I like it. I like it.
I went to
Or
Home
she
Depot. I bought outdoor grade LED lights, color changeable. It was $50. I put it down the side of my garage. So when customers come over, the walkway between the garage and the house is lit.
Nice.
It was $50. You can
That
daisy
was-
chain, I think it's up to 6 sets together. So
Very nice.
24 feet times 6.
That was sort of the reason why I put Christmas lights up, because of customers. Trying to put myself in some kind of Christmas spirit because I don't do Christmas generally.
I already have a tree over there for pictures.
I'm gonna reel it back in, and let's talk about lasers for a second.
Okay, you want to see what our laser
Hey,
did?
I was trying to kill the dead silence.
What that?
That's our board butter that we make, and the UV just engraved the tin.
Nice.
Gotta
There,
love that
my-
UV.
So did you get your 50 millimeter figured out, Tommy?
No, I improvised. I adapted and I overcame.
Sounds like military.
So I don't know if anybody heard about the new taper tool that's going to come to Lightburn.
Yeah, I heard
So
about it. Do you want to elaborate?
I can. So it's going to take the diameter of the top of the cup, the diameter of the bottom of the cup, and then you measure the distance from the top to the bottom, and it will automatically adjust your warp for those pint cups, which is going to be very nice.
And it will effectively be used
So like
on.
these kind of cups, right?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Especially this is bad.
Yes,
That's so
exactly like that.
exciting.
So it's going to, and it will work the same and not have issues with Galvo versus gantry.
You know, some of y'all are hard to please, you know?
I
That I
want it
don't know.
all.
It should mimic the graphic to eliminate the warp of a pint glass or some type of a taper on a cup like.
Or if you like engrave those orange construction cones, that could be helpful.
They are trying to, yeah. If you want an ice cream cone engraved,
Hey, that's not a bad idea either.
no, nice sugar cone,
Yeah.
throw that on there.
I tried it. I do it in the UV.
Just
So
be
Jason,
careful with anything sugar. Like sugar can get
Creme
airborne,
brulee.
explode.
No, we're bruleeing it.
that's right, yeah. Jason with Lightburn, his girlfriend or significant other, Sarah, bitched enough about no rulers, so we may actually get rulers.
Like Vectrix.
Why?
Yeah. Huh?
Because in Vectrix, it's nice when you can start setting parameters in to design stuff.
Okay.
It's good to measure stuff out, you know, pull them along the side and measure your graphic, or even just sending it to a customer saying, hey, this is how big your cup is, something like that.
I just put
Spell
extra
check.
boxes in.
Spell check was discussed. They weren't very happy about it, but they kind of submitted that it is needed.
Yep.
What about find and replace?
No. I mean, you
Because
do have that text box that you can use, but I don't think it.
so sometimes when a customer needs to see their same wall sign or whatever in different fonts, you'll array it out and you'll sit there and make it a bunch of different fonts, and then they want to change the phrase. Well, now you've got, say, 15 examples, and you got to go to every one of them, copy pasting and changing the phrase with the text editor, where find and replace would do it.
Like they
Snap your
want
fingers.
one word that's a different font, so it looks.
Well, yeah, or just change the word. Like you could have a template set up. These are all my test fonts. These are what I typically use for a wall sign, and then they want to see their exact letters, because some letters may look a little goofy on that font, and you just want to find and replace all 15 examples with their specific phrase.
You could submit
I mean,
a request.
yeah, I suppose a way around that would be using their CSV files, Excel spreadsheet, and then you just set it up as that style text, and then just change it in your Excel spreadsheet, tell it to import it and preview it and see it. That's a lot of work.
So, Mac, question: when you're talking about the Excel, can I do that in numbers and it work the same way?
You have to export a CSV file, so yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I haven't messed with any of that yet, so.
You could even use Notepad and
Okay.
separate the values in that. Just in a regular text editor, it'll take a text file too, I think. But do you still have to call it a CSV, even though it's a text file?
I think
It
it'll
has to
take a
be done
DXC as
CSV.
well.
I think Lightburn only wants CSV, but I could be wrong.
Oh, EasyCAD will do both. Bam.
And
Doom.
Chris, you were discussing the Lightburn. I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that I can get selected for the Millmage.
Yes, they are very close to having it in beta form.
Yep.
I
For
could
everyone
send you
else,
what I
that's
have.
Lightburn for CNC.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Lois?
I said for everyone that doesn't know what Millmage and Lightburn is, that's Lightburn for the
I
CNC
know what.
router.
There you
By
go.
show of hands, is your laser a CNC machine?
Yes.
Yes.
I got a finger.
That's
I
why
keep
she said CNC router.
I misspoke. My bad.
Chris has
Did they
CNC.
announce any partnerships, Chris, for who it's going to work with?
It's gonna write the G code, so anything that you can put the G code into, it should work.
His goal is for it to be competitive with Vectrex, and Vectrex has just about every controller listed. So I buy a Vectrex, and then I go down and I select whatever machine that I've got. And I don't know how. I don't even think I got to the end of that list.
I was looking
Trying
to
to
pick
think
up
of all the other things.
tabletop.
I don't remember. I remember him talking about them, but that's about it.
What was that?
I remember I watched one of the videos.
Yeah, I didn't think that was pretty cool that they were finally coming out with it for wood curving machines, basically. I would say it that way.
Thank you.
You just got to get the LBX out of Peoria, or however you say it.
Yeah.
Columbus,
Well,
Ohio.
Dubai.
So
No.
I mean,
Okay.
for the
Yeah,
no,
that'd be good.
for the first
I'd
one,
go
you got
there.
to think about they didn't know how big it was going to be, how successful. So keeping it close to, I guess, what is their home was not a bad
Joe.
move.
Yeah.
And so for next year, thinking about
Yeah,
if they want to go
Louisville.
bigger, they got to find somewhere that people want to vacation and doing a business expense for all that and traveling. That's
Branson,
why,
Missouri.
Louisville, bourbon country.
See?
yeah. So places like Vegas, Orlando, Tampa,
Vegas.
they've got a ton of convention center space for that reason.
So what was the numbers like there, Chris?
Over 500.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
No, yeah, it was pretty good.
And that's probably a lot better than the trade shows we typically go to because that's all kinds of different equipment. Most of these guys were all laser, so the concentration of people there
And
should have been.
there were a couple people that were a little upset with the content. It was a little bit more advanced. You kind of had to know what was going on. But I will say I was very impressed. They adapted on the fly. They had one lady that was very distraught because she came there hoping that she would leave knowing how to run her laser machine. And it didn't really cover, it wasn't a 3-day
Beginner.
class of how to do that. It was, there were speakers that had their own subjects. But they adapted very quickly and had changed one of their topics to the point where they went through the fundamentals and, two of the developers sat in there and took questions and everything. So they saw the need for possibly next time having workstations where,
Yeah, they can.
every hour you're flipping out people with, come on over. Let's talk Lightburn. Where are you confused? How do you run it? Stuff like that.
Lasers 1, 2, 3 ABC type scenario.
Well,
Yeah.
it
Yep.
also looks at on a y'all's aspect, and I know, the Good Idea Fairy, by the way, landed on my shoulder last night, and she hasn't left yet. So bear with me when I say this, but when it comes to y'all and other manufacturers and other support, having there walking through, could be beneficial. Could be a lot of ass pain and wasted time, but you never know.
No, we need a booth there next time. That's for sure. Yeah, and it's only going to grow. I mean, if they got 500 people to Peoria, you put that in the middle of the year, not at Christmas time during a rush when everybody's busy. You put that in a city where people want to vacation, where they can make a full trip out of it for the family and for business, like Chris said. They're going to triple, maybe quadruple their numbers for sure.